Hello, and welcome to Cats for Sleep. Tonight, we're going to explore a simple question that has probably crossed your thoughts before. Why do cats stare at you? Maybe it happens when you are sitting on the couch. Maybe it happens while you are working. Maybe you look up from your phone, and there they are. Still, quiet, watching. And in that moment, you probably are wondering what the cat is thinking. It can feel intentional. It can feel focused. It can even feel a little mysterious. Before we go any further, if you enjoy slow, gentle explorations of everyday cat behavior, you're always welcome to subscribe. And if you'd like, you can leave a comment sharing where you're listening from tonight. It helps other cat lovers find these calm explanations too. Now, let's stay in that quiet moment. There is something about sustained eye contact that immediately captures human attention. Our brains are tuned to notice when another set of eyes rests on us. In human social life, eye contact carries meaning. It signals connection, emotion, attention, or intention. So when a cat fixes their gaze on you, your own mind naturally begins searching for explanation. Are they asking for something? Are they curious? Are they judging? Are they trying to communicate? The stillness is what makes it powerful. Cats often do not blink frequently while watching. Their bodies remain relaxed, sometimes tucked neatly under them. No sound, no movement, just observation. In human terms, stillness can feel intense. We are used to conversation filling silence. We are used to gestures, facial changes, and quick glances. A prolonged, quiet gaze feels deliberate because we would only do it deliberately. But cats are not using the same social rules that humans use. For a cat, watching is a default state. It is part of how they move through the world. Their survival once depended on noticing small shifts in their environment. A flick of grass, a subtle shadow, a slight rustle. So when they watch you, they are often doing what their species has always done. They observe. There is also something else happening in that shared moment. When you notice your cat staring, you stop what you are doing. You look back. For a brief second, you and your cat are both still. There is a pause in movement, a pause in sound, a small shared space of attention. That pause can feel meaningful because it is quiet. Silence allows room for interpretation. If your cat glances at you briefly and looks away, you might not even register it. But when the gaze lingers, your attention shifts. The duration makes it noticeable, and once noticed, your imagination may begin filling in the blank. It is completely natural to wonder what your cat is thinking. Humans are wired to attribute thoughts and emotions to other beings. It helps us navigate social life. It helps us predict behavior. It helps us bond. But a cat's stare is not always layered with hidden messages. Sometimes it is simply awareness. Sometimes it is pattern tracking. Sometimes it is recognition. You are part of their environment. A moving, breathing, predictable presence within their territory. From their perspective, watching you is no different than watching a doorway, or a window, or a shifting patch of sunlight. It is information gathering. The difference is that you interpret it. You feel seen. And being seen, especially in silence, carries emotional weight. That is why the moment can feel so personal. Tonight, We will gently explore what that gaze really means through biology, behavior, emotion, and evolution. For now, just imagine a cat sitting nearby, eyes open, body relaxed, quietly taking in the room, and you, for a moment, doing the same. When humans think about staring, we usually imagine social meaning. We imagine intention. We imagine emotion. We imagine a message being sent. But in the wider animal world, eye contact carries a very different weight. For many species, a direct, sustained gaze can signal tension. Among predators, locking eyes can indicate assessment. Among prey animals, prolonged eye contact can feel like pressure. In some social mammals, an unbroken stare may function as a warning. So where do cats fit within that spectrum? Cats evolved as solitary hunters. They did not depend on large group cooperation in the way wolves or primates did. Their communication system developed around territory, subtle signaling, and controlled displays, rather than loud social negotiation. Because of this, their use of eye contact tends to be quiet and economical. In feline language, staring is often less about confrontation and more about information. A cat's eyes are tools first, social signals second. They are built for depth perception, motion tracking, and environmental scanning. When a cat looks at something steadily, it is usually because that object, movement, or being has entered their awareness as relevant. Relevance does not automatically mean danger. It can mean movement. It can mean curiosity. It can mean potential interaction. Among cats themselves, prolonged direct staring without blinking can sometimes create tension, especially between unfamiliar individuals. In those contexts, the body posture becomes important. Is the back arched? Are the ears flattened? Is the tail stiff? The eyes alone do not tell the full story. Cats rarely rely on one signal at a time. Their communication is layered. Eyes, whiskers, ears, tail position, body orientation, and muscle tension all combine to create meaning. When a cat sits comfortably, body loose, ears neutral, whiskers relaxed, and simply watches you, the message is different from a rigid, unblinking stare paired with a stiff posture. The human tendency is to isolate the eyes and interpret them as the main signal. But in animal language, the eyes are part of a larger system. Stillness is another important element. Predators conserve energy. Movement is expensive. Remaining still allows a cat to gather information without committing to action. Watching is efficient. It allows them to assess whether something requires response. In that sense, staring can be understood as low-energy monitoring. There is also a timing component. Short glances occur constantly in animal environments. A bird flutters, a leaf shifts, a shadow moves. These brief checks happen almost invisibly. A longer gaze indicates that something has sustained interest. Duration communicates importance. That importance can be as simple as, "This is moving," or "This may change." When a cat looks at you steadily, you may have become the most dynamic element in the room. Even small shifts, tapping fingers, shifting posture, breathing patterns, can hold their attention. Another factor is that cats evolved to rely heavily on vision during crepuscular hours, meaning dawn and dusk. In dim lighting, steady observation becomes even more valuable. Movement detection in low light requires focused attention. Their visual system rewards patience. So when we translate this into a domestic setting, the meaning remains similar. The living room replaces the grassland. The couch replaces the brush. The human replaces the rustling prey. The behavior itself remains rooted in awareness. There is also a social adaptation that developed through domestication. Unlike some wild species, domestic cats have become more tolerant of human gaze. Over thousands of years, individuals that were more comfortable around humans were more likely to thrive near human settlements. That gradual selection softened certain threat responses. Eye contact between cats and humans, therefore, does not always carry the same defensive meaning it might carry between unfamiliar wild animals. Instead, it can become neutral. Neutral observation is often misread by humans as emotionally loaded. Part of this comes from how humans process being watched. Our brains are highly sensitive to eye direction. Even subtle changes in where someone is looking can activate areas of the brain related to social awareness. We are wired to detect when attention is directed toward us. When that attention comes from a cat, whose facial expression changes less dramatically than a human's, the stillness can feel amplified. Their face remains composed. Their eyes remain open. The lack of rapid blinking or expressive eyebrows gives the impression of intensity. But intensity is not always present. Sometimes it is simply steadiness. In the language of animals, staring can mean, I see you, I am aware, I am assessing, I am tracking. It does not automatically mean confrontation. It does not automatically mean affection. It does not automatically mean confusion or judgment. It often means presence. And presence in the animal world is survival. To be aware of what shares your space is to remain safe within it. So when a cat looks at you across a quiet room, the most fundamental layer of that gaze may be simple awareness. You are there. You are moving. You are part of the environment. From that foundation, more nuanced meanings can build. But at its core, the feline stare begins as observation. The same observation that once kept their ancestors alive in tall grass and dim twilight. It is calm. It is economical. It is efficient. And in many cases, it is simply the language of being awake and aware. Long before cats shared couches and windowsills, they survived by watching. They are built for focus. Domestic cats descend from small wildcats that hunted alone. Survival depended on noticing slight movements in grass, subtle changes in light, and the smallest twitch of prey. Unlike animals that chase over long distances, cats rely on precision. They watch first. They move later. That pause, that steady, unblinking observation, is part of their design. A cat's eyes face forward. This placement allows for binocular vision, meaning both eyes focus on the same object to judge depth and distance accurately. Depth perception is essential for a hunter who must calculate exactly when to leap. When you see a cat staring at something, you are often seeing the visual system preparing, even if no action follows. Their eyes are especially sensitive to movement. Cats detect tiny shifts that humans often overlook. A flicker in your fingers, a foot adjusting position, the rise and fall of breathing. Even when you feel still, your body is not completely still. To a cat, small motion is information. Visual hunting also depends on patience. A burst of energy must be timed correctly. Moving too early wastes effort. Waiting allows for certainty. This waiting can look like staring. Inside a home, there may be no prey to pursue. There may be no tall grass. Yet the neurological wiring remains. The brain still responds to motion cues. The visual system still locks onto points of interest. You become part of that system. It is easy to assume that a cat who stares is thinking in complex emotional narratives. In reality, part of the process may be far simpler. The brain registers motion. The eyes align. Focus sharpens. Observation begins. Another key element of feline hunting is energy conservation. Cats are built for short, explosive bursts rather than continuous endurance. This means that most of their time is spent resting, conserving strength, or quietly assessing surroundings. Staring requires almost no energy. It allows the cat to remain alert without committing to action. When your cat sits upright and watches you, body relaxed, eyes open, they may simply be maintaining awareness in the most efficient way possible. There is also something called the orienting response. This is a reflexive reaction in many animals, including humans, where attention automatically shifts toward a new or changing stimulus. A sound, a movement, a shift in light can trigger this reflex. Cats have a strong orienting response. If you stand up from a chair, adjust your posture, reach toward a shelf, or walk across a room, your cat's eyes may follow instantly. Even after you stop moving, their gaze may linger briefly, ensuring the movement has fully resolved. That lingering is often what we interpret as staring. But from a biological perspective, it is simply the completion of an assessment. The hunter's brain does not switch off simply because the environment feels safe. Even domestic cats retain this sensory alertness. Interestingly, cats often choose elevated positions from which to watch. A chair back, a shelf, a windowsill. Height improves visual range and increases awareness of motion patterns below. From that vantage point, they can monitor the room without being in the center of it. If you have ever looked up to find a cat quietly observing from above, you are seeing this instinct in action. There is also the rhythm of focus itself. A cat's stare is rarely rigid for long periods. If you observe closely, you will notice subtle shifts, micro adjustments of the pupils, slight head tilts, soft blinks. The gaze may seem fixed, but it is actually active. It is scanning, it is calibrating, and sometimes it is simply resting while open. Because cats blink less frequently than humans, their eyes can appear more intensely focused. Humans blink every few seconds. Cats blink more slowly, especially when relaxed. The result is a gaze that feels sustained. Yet beneath that appearance is a visual system doing what it evolved to do. Gather information quietly and efficiently. When you sit across from a cat and feel their eyes on you, you are witnessing an ancient skill expressed in a modern setting. The living room replaces the field. The human replaces the small animal. The instinct remains. Observation first, movement later, and sometimes no movement at all. The stare, in this sense, is not mysterious. It is the hunter's paws carried gently into domestic life. If we want to understand why a cat's stare feels so steady, it helps to look at the structure behind it. A cat's eyes are not simply expressive features. They are specialized instruments, shaped by generations of survival in low light and shifting terrain. One of the first things people notice is how large a cat's eyes appear compared to the size of their head. Proportionally, feline eyes are quite prominent. Larger eyes allow more light to enter, which improves visibility during dawn and dusk, the hours when small prey animals are most active. More light entering the eye means more information reaching the retina. This alone can make a cat's gaze feel vivid. Another distinctive feature is the vertical slit pupil. Unlike the round pupils of humans, a cat's pupils can expand and contract dramatically. In bright light, the pupil narrows into a thin vertical line. In dim light, it opens wide into a dark oval, covering much of the visible eye. This range allows precise control over how much light reaches the retina. It also contributes to the emotional feel of the gaze. When pupils are wide, the eyes can look larger and darker, which humans often interpret as intensity or curiosity. When pupils are narrow, the gaze may seem sharp and focused. Yet these changes are often responding to light conditions more than emotional shifts. Behind the retina lies another structure that makes feline eyes unique: the tapetum lucidum. This reflective layer acts almost like a mirror. Light that passes through the retina without being absorbed is reflected back through it, giving the photoreceptors a second chance to detect it. This increases sensitivity in low light conditions. It is also the reason a cat's eyes glow when light shines toward them in the dark. The glow is not mystical. It is simply reflected light. Still, knowing that their eyes are designed to capture faint movement in twilight helps explain why their gaze can feel so attentive, even in dim rooms. Cats also have a wide field of view. Their eyes are positioned slightly more toward the sides of their head than human eyes, while still maintaining forward focus. This gives them both depth perception and broader peripheral awareness. They can track motion without moving their head much. When a cat appears to be staring straight ahead, they may also be perceiving subtle motion in their peripheral vision. Another small but important detail is blink frequency. Humans blink frequently to moisten and protect the eyes. Cats blink less often, especially when alert. A reduced blink rate can make their gaze appear more continuous. From a human perspective, unbroken eye contact feels intense because we are used to intermittent blinking. When a cat holds their eyes open for longer stretches, it registers as deliberate. But in many cases, it is simply physiological. The muscles around a cat's eyes also move differently than human facial muscles. Cats have fewer exaggerated facial expressions. Their eyebrows do not lift dramatically. Their forehead remains relatively still. This limited visible expression can make their gaze seem unreadable. Humans rely heavily on micro-expressions in one another to interpret emotional states. When those cues are absent or subtle, we may project more meaning into what we see. The clarity of a cat's eyes, large, reflective, steady, creates a blank canvas for interpretation. Yet underneath that surface is a visual system optimized for function. The retina itself contains a high concentration of rod cells, which are photoreceptors specialized for detecting motion and light changes. Rod cells perform well in low light and are sensitive to movement, while cone cells specialize in color perception. Cats have fewer cones than humans, meaning color detail is less central to their visual experience. Movement matters more than color vibrancy. When a cat stares at you, their visual system is tuned to track the slight rise of your shoulders as you breathe, the shift of your hands, the tilt of your head. They are not necessarily focusing on fine color differences in your clothing. They are registering motion patterns. This motion sensitivity is subtle and constant. Even when you believe you are completely still, your body produces micro-movements. The eyes of a cat are well equipped to detect those changes. Understanding the anatomy removes some of the mystery. Their stare feels steady because their eyes are designed for steadiness. Their gaze feels bright because their corneas allow generous light entry. Their pupils shift dramatically because their light regulation system is flexible. Their eyes glow because of reflection, not emotion. The structure itself supports sustained observation. When you look into a cat's eyes, you are looking into a sensory system shaped for patience, dim light, and motion awareness. And that structure, quiet and efficient, is often enough to explain why the stare feels so complete. If you have ever looked closely at a cat's eyes, you may have noticed how dramatically the pupils change. Sometimes they are thin vertical lines. Sometimes they are wide and dark, almost filling the entire eye. These changes can happen quickly, and when they do, they often feel meaningful. The pupils are small openings that regulate how much light enters the eye. In bright environments, the pupil narrows to protect the retina. In dim environments, it expands to gather more light. This is the simplest explanation. Light in, light out. Adjustment in real time. But pupils also respond to internal states. Excitement, surprise, curiosity, and sudden alertness can all influence pupil size. When the nervous system activates, the pupils often widen slightly. This allows for increased visual intake, preparing the body to respond if necessary. If your cat is staring at you with wide pupils, it may feel intense. Large pupils can make the eyes look rounder and darker. Humans often associate this look with heightened emotion. Yet context is everything. Are you holding a toy? Did you just stand up suddenly? Is the room dimly lit? Wide pupils in a dark room may simply reflect low light conditions. Wide pupils while watching a fluttering object may reflect playful arousal. On the other hand, narrow pupils in bright daylight are simply responding to illumination. The vertical slit design allows cats to control light entry with remarkable precision. Even small changes in brightness can produce visible shifts. Because these shifts are so noticeable, humans often read them as signals of intention. In some cases, they are. During play, you may see your cat's pupils expand slightly just before a pounce. The body lowers, the tail stills, the eyes widen. The visual system is preparing for movement. In those moments, pupil dilation pairs with posture. The whole body participates in communication. When a cat stares at you calmly, body relaxed, ears neutral, and pupils moderately sized, the message may be simple awareness. It helps to remember that pupil changes are influenced by both environment and emotion at the same time. A bright kitchen with overhead lights will produce different pupil shapes than a softly lit bedroom at night. If you notice your cat watching you in dim light with wide pupils, the size may feel dramatic, but it is likely appropriate for the setting. There are also subtle fluctuations that occur naturally. Pupils can expand and contract slightly in response to small changes in light, even when the shift is barely perceptible to you. These micro-adjustments can make the eyes seem alive with movement. The human brain is very sensitive to eye detail. We instinctively monitor pupil size in other humans, even without realizing it. Changes in pupil size can affect how we interpret emotion and attention. When we see similar changes in cats, we instinctively search for emotional meaning. Sometimes that meaning exists. Sometimes it is simply biology. Another layer to consider is arousal level. In animal behavior, arousal does not always mean stress. It refers more broadly to how activated the nervous system is. Play, hunting focus, curiosity, and mild excitement can all increase arousal slightly. If your cat has been resting quietly and suddenly hears a sound, their pupils may widen briefly as their body gathers information. If they are watching you move around the kitchen near their feeding time, subtle dilation may reflect anticipation. When the body settles again, the pupils return to a smaller, more neutral shape. The changes are fluid, they are responsive, and they are rarely isolated from the rest of the body's signals. To interpret a stare accurately, it helps to observe more than the eyes alone. Are the whiskers forward or relaxed? Are the ears upright or angled sideways? Is the tail still or gently moving? Pupils are part of the story, but they are not the whole story. The reason the stare can feel so powerful is because the eyes shift while the rest of the face remains relatively composed. Without exaggerated facial muscles, the pupil becomes the most dynamic feature. So when you notice your cat staring and the pupils widen or narrow, you are witnessing a living adjustment system, constantly calibrating to light, movement, and subtle changes in environment. It is less about hidden thoughts and more about responsiveness. The eyes are doing their work, and that work is quiet, automatic, and precise. Understanding that helps soften the intensity of the gaze. What feels like a dramatic emotional statement is often a small biological adjustment happening in real time. A flicker of light, a shift in movement, a body preparing gently for whatever comes next. There is a version of the cat stare that feels entirely different from the steady, unblinking gaze we've been describing. It is softer. The eyes narrow gently, the lids lower halfway, the blink unfolds slowly, almost lazily, before opening again. This is the slow blink. Unlike a fixed stare, the slow blink carries relaxation in it. The muscles around the eyes loosen. The face appears smooth. The body often rests in a comfortable position, paws tucked or stretched. In feline interaction, this softened gaze has meaning. Among cats, direct, rigid staring can create tension. A relaxed narrowing of the eyes reduces that tension. It signals ease. It communicates that no immediate threat is present. It lowers the intensity of the exchange. The slow blink functions almost like a visual exhale. It says, "I am calm. I am comfortable. I am settled here." When cats live together peacefully, you may observe this behavior between them. One cat looks toward another, eyes partially closed, then blinks slowly before turning away. It is a gentle acknowledgement without pressure. In domestic life, this gesture often extends toward humans. You may notice your cat looking at you from across the room, eyelids lowering gradually. There is no stiffness in the body. The ears remain neutral. The tail is still or softly wrapped around the paws. The blink is unhurried. Many people refer to this as the cat kiss. The phrase captures the feeling, though the behavior itself is rooted in muscle relaxation and social signaling. Interestingly, research suggests that cats may respond positively when humans slow blink toward them. When a person narrows their eyes gently and blinks slowly, some cats will approach or mirror the gesture. Mirroring behavior plays a role in bonding across species. Subtle imitation can signal alignment. In human social life, we often unconsciously mirror posture and facial expression to build connection. Cats appear capable of participating in a similar, quieter version of that exchange. The muscles around the eyes are part of a broader facial system. When a cat relaxes, the whiskers settle, the jaw softens, and the eyes partially close. This full facial relaxation contributes to the meaning of the slow blink. It is not simply the movement of the eyelids. It is the overall absence of tension. The blink unfolds in a rhythm that matches calm breathing. When you experience this from a cat, the emotional impact can feel surprisingly strong. A slow blink directed towards you can create a sense of recognition. It can feel like acknowledgement without demand. And yet, from the cat's perspective, it may simply be the natural expression of comfort in your presence. Unlike a fixed stare used for monitoring movement, the slow blink appears when no urgent information needs to be gathered. The body is at ease. The nervous system is regulated. Observation softens into presence. This distinction matters. Not all staring is alertness. Some watching carries warmth in it. When a cat slow blinks, their eyelids shield part of the visual field. They momentarily reduce clarity in favor of comfort. That willingness to partially close the eyes in another's presence suggests a sense of safety. Safety allows softness. Softness changes the quality of the gaze. If you have ever slow blinked back at a cat and watched them repeat the gesture, you have participated in a quiet cross-species exchange. No sound, no movement, just a shared rhythm of eyelids lowering and rising. The simplicity of the gesture makes it powerful. It reminds us that not every stare is intense. Some are invitations into calm. Still, even in this softness, another element remains beneath the surface. Cats continue to observe the world through curiosity. Even relaxed, they gather information. Even settled, they notice subtle changes. The slow blink may soften the edges of the gaze, yet curiosity remains part of their nature. And that curiosity often drives the watching behavior that fills quiet rooms with silent attention. Not every stare comes from intensity. Not every gaze carries a social message. Very often, it begins with something much simpler: curiosity. Cats live in a world built from observation. Their survival once depended on noticing small changes in their environment. That wiring did not disappear when they moved indoors. It simply adapted to a different landscape. Inside a home, the grass becomes carpet. The rustling brush becomes a shifting blanket. The distant movement becomes you walking from room to room. From a cat's perspective, the environment is never completely static. You may feel still while reading, typing, or watching television. Yet your body continues producing subtle motion. Fingers tap, shoulders shift, eyes move. Breathing changes rhythm. Cats detect these details. Watching, in this sense, is information gathering. Environmental monitoring is constant. Even when relaxed, a cat's senses remain lightly engaged. They track sound patterns, light changes, and movement. The stare you notice may simply be the moment their attention lands fully on you. Humans are among the most dynamic elements in a cat's territory. Doors open unexpectedly. Cabinets reveal food. Hands reach for objects. Voices change tone. Routines unfold in repeating yet slightly varied patterns. From a cat's perspective, you are both familiar and unpredictable. That combination invites curiosity. Curiosity does not require urgency. It does not require tension. It is a quiet process. The eyes remain open. The body stays still. The brain collects data. When your cat stares at you, they may be asking a simple internal question. What will happen next? Cats learn by watching. They do not rely solely on trial and error. They study outcomes. If you stand and walk toward the kitchen at a certain time each day, your cat notices. If you reach toward a specific drawer before feeding them, they remember. This learning happens through repetition. Watching supports that repetition. There is also the concept of object permanence. Cats understand that objects and beings continue to exist even when out of sight. If you leave a room, they know you have not vanished completely. When you return, they observe your re-entry into shared space. Staring can occur during these transitions. You reappear. They reevaluate. The environment updates. Curiosity is especially strong when subtle changes occur. A new object enters the room. A bag is placed on the floor. A sound comes from outside the window. Your reaction to those changes becomes part of the information stream. Cats may watch your face for cues. Are you calm, alert, moving quickly? Your body language contributes to their interpretation of the environment. This silent study of behavior builds familiarity. Over time, your movements become predictable. Predictability reduces uncertainty, yet curiosity remains active in small ways. Even when nothing dramatic happens, the brain enjoys small updates. A shift in posture, a stretch, a sigh. Cats often observe without intervening. They do not always approach or vocalize. The watching itself is enough. It is also worth noting that curiosity in cats can be patient. Unlike animals that investigate immediately through touch, cats often observe first and approach later. The visual system gathers information before the body commits to movement. This delay can look like staring, yet beneath it is gentle investigation. In a shared living space, this type of curiosity becomes part of daily life. You move through rooms. Your cat tracks those movements from a distance. Sometimes they follow. Sometimes they remain seated and watch. Both responses are rooted in awareness. The stare may last only a few seconds. It may last longer if you remain in motion. Duration reflects ongoing information flow. If nothing changes, the gaze may soften. If movement continues, attention remains engaged. Curiosity also pairs with comfort. Cats are more likely to watch closely in environments where they feel safe. Safety allows the nervous system to explore rather than defend. A relaxed cat can afford to be curious. So when you catch your cat staring, consider the possibility that you are simply interesting, not dramatic, not confusing, just interesting. A moving presence within their known world. Watching is how they learn that world, and through watching, they begin to recognize patterns that shape the quiet routines of shared life. Cats are often described as creatures of habit. There is truth in that description, though it may be more accurate to say that cats are careful observers of patterns. Routine provides structure to their environment, and much of that structure is built around you. When a cat stares at you during certain times of day, the gaze may be connected to memory rather than mystery. Cats possess strong associative learning abilities. They remember sequences. They connect actions with outcomes. Over time, repeated patterns form reliable expectations. If breakfast happens shortly after you step into the kitchen each morning, your cat will notice that sequence. The sound of your footsteps, the direction of your movement, the opening of a cabinet. Watching becomes anticipation. You may feel as though your cat is staring at you randomly, when in fact they are tracking the early stages of a familiar chain of events. Routine tracking begins quietly. A cat observes enough repetitions to identify consistency. Once consistency forms, they begin predicting. Prediction is efficient. It allows them to prepare without expending unnecessary energy. You may see this especially around feeding schedules. Long before you open a can or scoop dry food, your cat may already be watching you. Sometimes the staring begins even earlier, when you wake up, when you close a laptop, when you stand up from a certain chair. Small cues act as signals. Humans produce countless signals without realizing it. A shift in posture before standing, a glance toward the clock, the sound of keys moving on a table. Over time, your cat learns which of these cues reliably precede something meaningful. The stare becomes a way of checking whether the pattern is unfolding as expected. It is not impatience in the human sense. It is verification. Is this the moment? Is this the signal? Is the sequence beginning? Cats also track sleep-wake cycles. They notice when lights turn off. They recognize the sound of bedding shifting. They learn the difference between resting on the couch and preparing for the night. If you have ever noticed your cat watching you while you brush your teeth or change into sleep clothes, you may be witnessing pattern recognition in action. The routine has begun. The next stage is predictable. This tracking extends beyond feeding and sleeping. It includes work habits, playtime, and even the rhythm of phone use. Cats may stare when you begin packing a bag, putting on shoes, or picking up a coat. Departure cues matter. Through repetition, your cat understands that certain behaviors lead to absence. Watching may increase during those moments as they monitor the unfolding sequence. Routine tracking also creates comfort. Predictable environments reduce uncertainty. When a cat can anticipate what comes next, the world feels stable. That stability allows relaxation between events. Ironically, the very predictability that comforts them may produce the staring that puzzles you. You shift slightly toward the kitchen. They look. You reach for a drawer you always open before preparing food. They watch closely. The gaze is not loaded with hidden thought. It is aligned with expectation. Sometimes the pattern does not unfold as anticipated. You move toward the kitchen, but turn in another direction. You sit back down. The cabinet remains closed. Your cat may continue staring briefly, recalibrating. The sequence paused. Routine tracking also involves subtle time awareness. While cats do not read clocks, they perceive duration through environmental cues. Light changes, sound patterns, internal hunger rhythms. If dinner typically happens at a certain point in the evening, your cat's internal sense of timing may prompt observation. You become the indicator. Your movement confirms whether the expected event is approaching. In this way, staring becomes part of a larger system of environmental monitoring and memory. It is not separate from the rest of their behavior. It is woven into daily life. When you feel watched, you may simply be part of a known pattern unfolding in real time. Your cat is not asking philosophical questions. They are reading the room. They are checking the sequence. They are confirming the rhythm. And in doing so, they quietly demonstrate just how closely they have learned the shape of your days. Beyond instinct, beyond curiosity, beyond routine, there is another layer to the cat's stare: familiarity. Over time, cats do more than track movement and patterns. They begin to recognize individuals, not just as moving shapes within a territory, but as specific beings with consistent presence. Cats have the ability to distinguish human faces. Research suggests they can recognize their guardian's face compared to strangers, especially when paired with voice and scent cues. While their reliance on smell remains strong, vision still plays a role in identification. When a cat looks at you, they are not seeing a generic human outline. They are seeing you, your posture, your walking rhythm, your facial structure, your usual expressions. Sight combines with scent in powerful ways. Cats navigate the world heavily through smell, yet when scent and sight align consistently, recognition strengthens. The visual image of you becomes associated with the comfort of your presence, your voice, your touch. Looking reinforces that connection. In bonded relationships, eye contact can feel softer. The body remains relaxed. The tail may rest gently around the paws. Ears remain forward or neutral. There is no urgency in the stare. It resembles shared awareness rather than evaluation. Attachment behavior in cats often includes proximity seeking. Some cats sit nearby without touching. Others settle directly against a leg or beside a body. In both cases, looking frequently accompanies closeness. A cat may lift their head and watch you quietly, then lower it again once reassured. The gaze can function almost like a check-in. Are you still there? Is everything calm? This behavior mirrors patterns seen in attachment across species. In many animals, including humans, individuals who feel secure in a bond periodically confirm the presence of the other through sight or touch. Cats may not require constant visual contact, but brief moments of eye connection can reinforce stability. It is important to remember, that feline bonding does not always look like human bonding. Cats are often subtle in their expressions of connection. They may not always seek constant attention or dramatic interaction. Sometimes, sitting in the same room and watching quietly is enough. Shared quiet presence becomes a form of companionship. When your cat stares at you while resting nearby, it may reflect this simple comfort in coexisting space. You are part of their social environment. Your presence has become familiar and integrated into their daily experience. Looking maintains that awareness. There is also evidence that certain interactions between cats and humans can influence hormone levels related to bonding. Some studies suggest that mutual gaze and gentle interaction may affect oxytocin levels in both species, though the research remains ongoing. What matters here is not a dramatic claim, but a gentle possibility. Eye contact may play a role in reinforcing connection. Over time, repeated peaceful exchanges build familiarity. Familiarity reduces stress. Reduced stress deepens comfort. Comfort changes the quality of the gaze. A cat who feels secure may allow longer, softer looks without tension. The eyes may narrow slightly. The blink may slow. The body may remain loose. There is no need for vigilance. There is no need for alertness. Just presence. Sometimes the stare may simply be companionship expressed visually. You move about the room. They remain seated, watching quietly. It is not a demand. It is not a warning. It is not always a request. It can be acknowledgement. I know you. You belong here. We share this space. In households with multiple people, cats often show preferences in where they sit and whom they watch more frequently. Familiarity builds through repeated positive interaction, feeding, gentle handling, calm voice tone. The more predictable and safe the interaction feels, the more relaxed the gaze becomes. Bonding through looking does not require constant intensity. It unfolds gradually, almost invisibly, over months and years of shared routine. And one day, you notice that your cat stares at you differently than they do at a visitor. The difference may be subtle, but it is there. Familiarity leaves its imprint on the eyes. And in that quiet recognition, the stare becomes less mysterious and more relational. A small, silent reminder that you are part of each other's world. There are moments when a cat stares at you and nothing is happening. No food preparation, no movement toward the door, no toy in your hand, just stillness. You sit. They sit. The room rests in soft quiet. In these moments, the stare may be part of something more subtle than curiosity or routine. It may be part of shared regulation. Co-regulation refers to the way two nervous systems influence each other's state. In humans, this often happens through tone of voice, posture, facial expression, and proximity. A calm presence can help settle another person. A tense presence can raise alertness. Cats are sensitive to these shifts. Though their expressions are understated, they are observant of energy changes in their environment. They notice when your breathing slows. They notice when your shoulders drop. They notice when your voice softens. When a cat stares at you in a quiet moment, they may be reading your state. Body posture plays a role here. Cats watch not just faces, but the entire form. A relaxed body sends one message. A rigid body sends another. If you lean back, exhale, and grow still, your cat may hold their gaze briefly, not in tension, but in awareness. The nervous system registers safety through repeated calm experiences. If you often sit quietly in the evening, perhaps reading or resting, your cat may associate that time with stability. Watching you becomes part of that shared ritual. The gaze is not always about gathering new information. Sometimes it is about confirming that the atmosphere remains steady. You may have noticed that cats often choose to settle in rooms where their humans spend time, even when no interaction occurs. They may sit a few feet away, facing you, eyes partially open. There is something grounding about shared presence. Stillness as mutual settling. When both bodies are calm, observation softens. The stare loses intensity and becomes more like gentle awareness. You breathe, they breathe. The room feels quiet. There is also evidence that animals can attune to subtle emotional cues. Changes in tone, micro-movements, and pacing can influence how they respond. A raised voice or quick movements may prompt alertness. Slow, measured movements may reinforce relaxation. In this way, a cat staring at you may be checking the emotional temperature of the space. Is everything steady? Is there movement? Is there change? When nothing shifts, the body relaxes further. This kind of co-regulation does not require touch. It does not require vocalization. It can occur simply through proximity and sight. Sitting nearby without movement becomes enough. The stare, in this context, becomes less about you as an object and more about you as part of a shared system. Living together creates a subtle feedback loop. Your routines influence your cat's rhythms. Your sleeping patterns influence theirs. Your stress levels can shape the atmosphere of the home. Cats often adjust their activity levels in response to the general energy around them. If you are calm, they are more likely to remain calm. If you are active, they may become alert. The quiet gaze can be part of that calibration. It is easy to imagine a cat staring because they want something specific. And sometimes that is true. But in peaceful moments, the stare may reflect something much simpler. You are both present. You are both still. You are both sharing the same air. The absence of interruption becomes meaningful. Observation without demand. When a cat watches you gently during these calm periods, they may simply be participating in shared space. Their eyes remain open, not because they are waiting for something dramatic, but because they are awake and aware within the same room. Over time, these quiet exchanges build a rhythm. You glance up, they glance back. No tension follows, just acknowledgement. In this way, the stare becomes less about action and more about alignment. Two beings inhabiting the same environment, adjusting softly to one another's presence. And sometimes, in the quietest rooms, that simple alignment is enough. There is a particular kind of stare that feels different from all the others. It happens at night. The room is dim. The lights are off. The house is quieter than usual. You wake briefly and notice a shape at the edge of the bed. Two eyes reflecting faint light. Still, watching. In those moments, the experience can feel mysterious. But from a cat's perspective, Nighttime is simply another active window of awareness. Cats are naturally crepuscular, meaning they are most active during dawn and dusk. While domestic life adjusts their schedules somewhat, many cats remain lightly alert during late evening and early morning hours. Their visual system is especially suited for low light. The tapetum lucidum, the reflective layer behind the retina, allows them to see in conditions that feel nearly dark to us. Light that seems faint to human eyes may be entirely workable for a cat. So when you sleep in a dim room, your cat's eyes are still gathering information clearly. You may appear motionless, but even in sleep, your body moves subtly. Breathing shifts your chest. You adjust position. Your eyelids flutter. The blankets rise and fall. To a cat, these micro movements are visible. Observation continues. There is also the soundscape of nighttime. The house creaks, air systems hum, distant noises drift through walls. Cats monitor these sounds automatically. Their ears pivot independently, catching small changes. When your cat sits nearby and watches you while you sleep, they may be tracking both you and the environment at once. You are part of the monitored space. Breathing patterns can serve as cues. A steady rhythm indicates rest. A sudden shift in breathing may draw brief attention, not out of concern in a human emotional sense, but out of instinctive awareness. Cats often position themselves strategically during sleep periods. Some settle at the foot of the bed, some choose the pillow, others remain on nearby furniture. These positions offer warmth, proximity, and a view of the room. Warmth is a simple motivator. Human bodies generate steady heat. Curling near that warmth is comfortable, but proximity can also provide a sense of familiarity. If you have ever awakened and seen your cat watching quietly, you may have felt as though you were being guarded. The word guard suggests intention and duty. For cats, the behavior may be less deliberate and more instinctive. Remaining near a trusted member of their social environment during vulnerable periods makes evolutionary sense. Sleep reduces responsiveness. When one individual sleeps, another awake individual increases overall environmental awareness. In multi-cat households, you may notice staggered sleep cycles. One cat rests while another roams. In a home shared with humans, the same pattern may occur. You sleep. They remain lightly alert. The stare, in this context, can feel intense simply because of the darkness. Reflected light in their eyes enhances the effect. The pupils may be wide due to low light, making the eyes appear larger and darker. But wide pupils at night are natural. The body may be completely relaxed. The tail tucked around paws, the ears neutral. The gaze itself may be brief. You shift slightly. They adjust. The room returns to quiet. Sometimes cats stare while you sleep because your movements are different during rest. Without the usual daytime activity, even a small twitch can register as novel. Novelty invites observation. There is also the element of routine tracking here. If you wake at a consistent time each morning, your cat may begin watching you shortly before that moment. They may anticipate the transition from sleep to activity. The stare becomes a way of checking whether the shift is beginning. Nighttime watching does not necessarily mean something dramatic is unfolding. It may simply reflect that your cat is awake while you are not. They are aware. They are comfortable. They are present in the same room. From your perspective, waking to find eyes reflecting in the dark can feel charged with meaning. From theirs, it may be an ordinary moment of quiet monitoring in a shared space. The house is still. The air is cool. You are breathing steadily. And your cat, built for dim light and subtle motion, continues doing what they have always done. Watching. There is a very specific kind of stare that many people recognize instantly. It happens in the kitchen. You walk toward a cabinet. You open a drawer. You pause for a moment. And before you even reach for anything, you feel it. Eyes on you. Food anticipation is one of the clearest examples of how staring connects to learning and expectation. Cats are highly skilled at mapping where important resources come from. In the wild, this would include water sources, shelter, safe pathways, and hunting grounds. Inside a home, resources are different. Food bowls, water fountains, treat containers, the cupboard where the dry food lives. Over time, your cat builds a mental map linking specific locations with specific outcomes. The sound of a cabinet door opening may signal food. The rattle of a scoop may confirm it. The shape of a particular bowl may hold meaning. Before any of those sounds occur, your movement becomes the first cue. Pre-meal staring often begins early in the sequence. You stand up at a familiar time. You walk in a familiar direction. You touch a familiar handle. Your cat watches closely. This stare can feel intentional because it often is aligned with anticipation. The body may lean forward slightly. The ears angle toward your movement. The pupils may widen subtly if excitement builds. Watching hands becomes especially important. Cats learn quickly that human hands are the bridge between stillness and action. Hands open cans. Hands pour food. Hands lower bowls to the floor. A cat staring at your hands is not mysterious. It is practical. Hands equal outcome. This linking of humans to resources is central to domestic life. In wild settings, resources are gathered independently. In homes, humans control distribution. Through repetition, cats associate specific individuals with feeding, treats, and play. If one person typically fills the bowl, the stare may focus more on that person during key moments of the day. Repetition strengthens expectation. The more consistent the pattern, the stronger the stare may become before the event occurs. It is not simply hope. It is learned probability. Sometimes the staring appears before any visible cue. Your cat may sit near the feeding area at roughly the same time each day, watching you from across the room. This suggests an internal rhythm. Cats may not read clocks, but they detect environmental changes. Light shifting through windows, household sounds winding down, your personal routines aligning in familiar ways. The stare becomes a quiet reminder. Is it time? In these moments, the gaze can feel purposeful. The body remains still, conserving energy, while the eyes monitor for confirmation. If you deviate from the pattern, the stare may linger longer. You move toward the kitchen but stop midway. You open the refrigerator instead of the cabinet. The expected sequence does not unfold. Your cat continues watching, recalibrating. Resource mapping extends beyond food. Water bowls, favorite resting spots, doors that lead outside, even the drawer where toys are stored. Cats build spatial associations quickly. When you approach a location linked with something meaningful, your movements become signals. Staring in these contexts is part of a broader tracking system. It is not simply watching you as a person. It is watching the unfolding of possibility. This type of stare often carries a slightly different energy than relaxed bonding gazes. There may be subtle alertness in the body, a readiness to move if the outcome becomes certain. Yet even here, the behavior remains rooted in learning. Observation builds knowledge. Knowledge builds expectation. Expectation shapes attention. Your cat is not puzzling over abstract thoughts. They are following a map they have constructed through daily repetition. And through that map, they connect you, your hands, your footsteps, your gestures, to the things that matter most for comfort and survival. Over time, this resource tracking blends into something larger. The home itself becomes a mapped territory. Every room, every doorway, every window. Watching you is part of that map, but so is watching the space around you. And that broader awareness shapes another layer of the stare, one connected to territory itself. To understand another layer of the cat stare, it helps to zoom out from the individual and look at the space itself. For a cat, the home is not just a building. It is territory. Territory does not have to mean conflict or defense. It simply refers to the mapped environment an animal knows well. The boundaries, pathways, resting spots, and vantage points that make up daily life. When your cat stares across a room, they are not always staring at you alone. They are monitoring the space. Watching windows is one of the clearest examples. A cat may sit at a window for long stretches, eyes fixed outward. Birds move, leaves shift, light changes. Even distant motion can capture attention. The window functions as a visual border. It marks the edge between known interior territory and the unpredictable outside world. Doorways hold similar importance. Doors open and close. Sounds drift through. Air currents change slightly when a door moves. When your cat stares at a doorway, they may be tracking potential change. Movement inside territory matters too. If you walk from one room to another, you cross mapped pathways. Cats know the usual flow of traffic inside their environment. When that flow shifts, their eyes follow. This monitoring does not require attention. It is ongoing awareness. Cats are spatial thinkers. They remember where furniture sits, where objects rest, and where safe elevations exist. They often choose high perches not simply for comfort, but for visual range. Height expands territory. From a shelf or staircase, a cat can see multiple rooms at once. The stare from above can feel especially deliberate because it combines elevation with stillness. Yet from that vantage point, your cat is simply maximizing information. Vertical positioning provides advantage. It reduces blind spots. It widens perspective. It allows silent observation. Sound also plays a role in territory awareness. A faint noise from another room may prompt a stare in that direction. The ears swivel. The eyes align. The body remains steady while information gathers. You may interpret this as staring into nothing, but your cat is likely responding to cues you did not consciously register. Evaluating unfamiliar sounds is part of maintaining safety within a territory. A new creak, a distant footstep, a shifting object. Observation precedes reaction. If nothing changes, the body remains calm. Silent surveillance is a natural safety behavior. It does not require aggression. It does not require fear. It simply requires attention. When your cat stares at you in certain moments, it may be because you have become the most dynamic element within that mapped territory. You stand suddenly. You move quickly. You carry an unfamiliar object. Their eyes track until the change stabilizes. Once the environment returns to equilibrium, the gaze softens. There is comfort in knowing the shape of one's territory. Cats often show signs of relaxation in well-known spaces. They stretch fully. They sleep deeply. They groom without urgency. These relaxed states are possible because awareness continues quietly in the background. The stare is part of that background system. It ensures that nothing important goes unnoticed. Sometimes the stare may linger on a fixed spot, a wall, a ceiling corner, a shadow. From your perspective, nothing is there. From theirs, slight movement or sound may have drawn attention. Insects, light flickers, subtle shifts in airflow. Territory is alive with detail. Even in calm households, the environment shifts constantly. Monitoring these shifts requires no dramatic emotion. It is steady, efficient observation. Your presence is woven into that territorial map. You occupy space. You alter sound patterns. You create movement pathways. When a cat stares at you, you may simply be part of the ongoing scan of familiar territory. They are not questioning you. They are updating the map. This quiet territorial awareness is deeply rooted in their evolutionary history. Long before domestic life, their ancestors depended on reading space accurately, knowing where prey might move, where threats might appear, and where safe retreat existed. That ancient wiring remains, even in comfortable homes. The living room becomes a landscape. The hallway becomes a corridor. The couch becomes elevated ground. And within that landscape, the stare functions as a steady anchor of awareness. Watching, assessing, maintaining the map. Inside that calm, inherited system lies another layer. The predator brain that shaped these behaviors long before sofas and windowsills ever existed. Beneath the comfort of blankets and soft furniture, there is an older layer of wiring. It is quiet. It is efficient. It does not disappear simply because life is gentle. Cats carry the nervous system of small predators. Even the most relaxed indoor cat descends from hunters who depended on timing, focus, and controlled bursts of movement. That inheritance still shapes how they look at the world and how they look at you. When a cat stares, there is often something subtle happening in the body. A slight twitch of the ear, a tiny adjustment of the whiskers, a near-invisible ripple in the muscles of the shoulders. These micro-twitch responses are part of a reflex system designed to prepare for action. The body remains mostly still, conserving energy, while certain muscles stay ready. Stillness before action is central to feline hunting behavior. Unlike endurance predators who chase over long distances, cats rely on short, precise movements. Success depends on waiting until the timing is right. That waiting period can last several seconds, sometimes longer. In a living room, there may be nothing to hunt. Yet the neural pattern remains. If you move your hand quickly, if a shadow shifts across the wall, if a sound occurs just out of view, your cat's brain may briefly activate that familiar circuitry. Eyes lock, body stills, breath steadies. Even if no leap follows, the system has prepared. Reflex arcs operate below conscious thought. They are automatic pathways connecting sensory input to muscular response. When the eyes detect sudden movement, signals travel rapidly through the nervous system. Preparation happens almost instantly. Most of the time, domestic life does not require a full response. The body resets quietly. But the initial phase, the stare, often remains visible. Energy-efficient focus is another hallmark of this predator wiring. Cats do not waste movement. They are economical with effort. Watching allows them to gather maximum information with minimal expenditure. It is one of the most efficient states the body can maintain. Alert but motionless. From a human perspective, this can feel intense. We tend to associate focus with emotional weight. When another human stares at us, we assume layered meaning: judgment, curiosity, confrontation, admiration. For a cat, the same posture may simply represent readiness. Not readiness for conflict necessarily. Readiness for change. Domestic life has not erased the evolutionary carryover of these traits. It has simply redirected them. The rustle in grass becomes the flicker of a television screen. The scurry of prey becomes the rolling of a toy. You, moving across the room, may briefly trigger the same tracking response. This does not mean your cat sees you as prey. It means movement registers deeply. The predator brain is highly sensitive to motion patterns. Even repetitive motions, tapping fingers, bouncing feet, can draw sustained attention. Sometimes the stare persists even after movement stops. This is the completion of assessment. The brain confirms that the stimulus has ended. Then the body softens. Another aspect of this inherited wiring is the balance between vigilance and rest. Cats sleep many hours each day, yet even during rest, their nervous systems remain capable of quick activation. A small sound can bring eyes open in an instant. The transition from rest to alertness is smooth and efficient. When your cat stares at you while lying down, they may be resting and monitoring simultaneously. One part of the brain rests, another part remains attentive. This dual capacity is a legacy of survival. The living room may feel safe, but the wiring does not distinguish between grassland and carpet at a fundamental level. It responds to input. The stare, in this sense, becomes a window into ancient behavior. It is not layered with strategy or deep narrative. It is a functional posture. Eyes forward, body still, energy conserved. From the outside, it can appear dramatic. From the inside, it is routine. Understanding this layer can reduce the mystery. Your cat's stare may sometimes carry the quiet echo of a hunter's pause, not because anything urgent is unfolding, but because the system that once kept them alive still operates gently beneath domestic calm. And depending on context, that gaze can shift in intensity. Soft and relaxed in one moment, sharper and more focused in another, reflecting subtle changes in emotion and environment. Not all stares feel the same. Sometimes the gaze is soft and almost dreamy. Sometimes it feels sharp and focused. Sometimes it lasts only a few seconds. Other times, it lingers long enough to make you shift in your seat. The difference often lies in emotional state. Cats express emotion subtly. Their faces do not shift as dramatically as human faces. They do not smile or frown in obvious ways. Instead, emotion appears in small adjustments. Tension in the body, angle of the ears, position of the whiskers. The eyes are only one part of the picture. A soft gaze usually appears when the body is relaxed. The eyelids may lower slightly. The pupils remain moderate in size for the lighting. The whiskers rest gently against the face. The ears stay upright or slightly angled outward. The body may be tucked comfortably. The tail still or loosely wrapped. In this state, the stare feels calm. It is awareness without urgency. A fixed stare, by contrast, often carries more tension. The eyelids may open wider. The pupils may narrow sharply in bright light, or widen slightly if arousal increases. The whiskers may angle forward. The ears may tilt toward the source of focus. The body may lean slightly forward. In these moments, the stare has purpose. Purpose does not always mean aggression. It can mean interest. It can mean anticipation. It can mean uncertainty. Whisker position offers subtle clues. When whiskers push forward, a cat is often engaged with something in front of them. Forward whiskers can accompany play, curiosity, or focused attention. Relaxed whiskers sit more loosely along the cheeks. Ear orientation also shapes the quality of the stare. Ears pointed forward suggest attention toward a stimulus. Ears angled sideways may indicate uncertainty or mild discomfort. Ears flattened tightly backward signal stress or defensiveness. If a stare is paired with flattened ears and a rigid body, the emotional tone shifts dramatically. Tail position matters as well. A gently resting tail usually accompanies a neutral or calm state. A tail flicking slowly from side to side can signal rising agitation. Rapid tail movement often reflects irritation or overstimulation. When assessing a stare, the whole body must be considered. Body tension is perhaps the most revealing factor. A relaxed body appears loose. Muscles are not visibly engaged. The shoulders remain soft. The paws rest comfortably. A tense body appears tighter. The spine may stiffen. The legs may position for quick movement. The eyes may look the same at first glance, yet the surrounding posture changes the meaning entirely. Humans often isolate the eyes because eye contact carries strong emotional weight in our own social systems. We assume the eyes reveal everything. In cats, emotion distributes across the entire body. A calm cat may hold a steady gaze simply because they are present and comfortable. A focused cat may hold the same gaze because they are evaluating movement. A stressed cat may also hold a steady gaze, but the accompanying signals, flattened ears, stiff posture, tail tension, will clarify the emotional state. The intensity of the stare can also shift quickly. A cat may watch you calmly for several seconds, then suddenly narrow their eyes if you move abruptly. The shift does not necessarily indicate anger. It may reflect a momentary spike in alertness. Emotion flows in small waves. Another nuance involves distance. A cat staring from across the room may feel different than one staring from very close range. Proximity can amplify perceived intensity, yet the emotional state may remain neutral. Context shapes everything. Time of day, lighting conditions, recent activity, environmental sounds, all influence the quality of the gaze. When your cat stares at you, the intensity is rarely random. It is a combination of internal state and external stimulus. Soft gaze reflects comfort. Fixed gaze reflects focus. Sharp gaze reflects alertness. Tense gaze reflects discomfort. Understanding these differences transforms the experience. Instead of wondering what hidden thought lies behind the eyes, you begin to see patterns in posture and energy. The stare becomes part of a broader emotional language, a language that speaks quietly through muscle tone, whisker angle, ear tilt, and tail position. And once you recognize these layers, the gaze feels less mysterious and more readable, a subtle expression of whatever state your cat happens to be in at that moment. When a cat stares at you, the gaze may not only be about what they are thinking, it may also be about what they are noticing in you. Cats are more perceptive of human behavior than we often realize. While they do not interpret facial expressions exactly as humans do, they are capable of recognizing patterns in faces, voices, and gestures over time. Your face is one of the most familiar visual objects in their environment. It moves, it changes, it produces sound. Research suggests that cats can distinguish their guardian's face from unfamiliar faces, especially when paired with voice cues. Sight and sound combine to create recognition. When your cat looks directly at your face, they may be gathering information. The human face carries subtle signals. Eye direction shifts slightly. Eyelids change position. The mouth moves. The jaw tightens or softens. Even small changes in breathing alter facial shape. Cats observe these shifts without needing to interpret them in a human narrative way. They learn patterns. If your face tends to soften before you reach down to pet them, they may begin associating that expression with touch. If your eyebrows lower and your voice sharpens before you move them away from a surface, they may associate that combination with interruption. Over time, these associations build quietly. Eye movement tracking is another layer. Cats often follow the direction of human gaze. If you look toward an object, they may glance in the same direction. This shared orientation toward space suggests an awareness that your focus carries meaning. You may have noticed your cat watching your eyes specifically rather than just your body. The eyes are dynamic. They shift rapidly. They blink. They widen. Even though cats blink less frequently than humans, they notice human blinking patterns. Tone of voice also plays a powerful role. Cats are sensitive to vocal changes. They recognize their names. They respond differently to calm tones compared to sharp or loud ones. When a cat stares at your face while you speak, they may be pairing sound with expression. Voice and face together create a fuller picture. Gesture anticipation adds another dimension. If you lift your hand in a certain way before throwing a toy, your cat may begin reacting to the early stages of that gesture. If you lean forward before standing up, they may track that motion as well. Facial shifts often precede action. A slight tightening around your eyes, a small intake of breath, a head turning toward a doorway. Your cat notices. Learning emotional patterns does not require complex interpretation. It requires repetition. If certain facial configurations consistently precede specific outcomes, the cat begins to expect those outcomes. The stare becomes a way of checking whether the pattern is unfolding again. This does not mean your cat understands human emotion in the same way another human might. It means they are skilled at reading consistent signals. For example, when you feel relaxed, your posture changes. Your movements slow. Your voice lowers. Your facial muscles soften. Over time, your cat learns that this state usually means calm interaction. If you feel rushed or stressed, your movements become sharper. Your tone changes. Your face tightens slightly. The cat registers the difference. When they stare at you, they may be gathering this information in real time. Is this a calm moment? Is this an active moment? Is this a transitional moment? The stare can be part of that assessment. It is also possible that cats use facial observation as a social check-in. In bonded relationships, brief eye contact can confirm presence and stability. A cat may look toward your face, hold the gaze for a moment, then look away once the information feels complete. No dramatic shift, no clear request, just acknowledgement. Because human faces are so expressive, we often assume that when an animal stares at us, they are decoding complex emotions. In reality, they may simply be reading surface-level patterns. Your face moves, your face signals, your face precedes action, and your cat has learned, through countless repetitions, that watching your face provides useful information. The stare, in this context, becomes less about mystery and more about communication through observation. You are not just an object in the room. You are a moving set of signals. And your cat, quietly attentive, continues gathering them. There are moments when your cat stares at you, and it feels like a message. No sound, no movement, just eyes. Cats do not rely heavily on vocal communication with one another in the way humans do. Much of their interaction happens through posture, scent, and subtle shifts in attention. Over time, domestic cats have expanded their vocal range around humans, yet visual signaling remains central. Looking can function as language. A cat sitting across the room, holding your gaze, may be communicating something simple. It could be a request. You may recognize this version of the stare. The cat positions themselves within your line of sight. The body is upright. The tail wraps neatly around the paws. The eyes remain steady. Nothing else happens. The silence itself becomes noticeable. Sometimes this look precedes a meow. Other times, it replaces one. The stare may last several seconds, as if waiting for acknowledgement. When you respond, by speaking, standing, or making eye contact, the interaction continues. In this way, looking becomes the opening move in a conversation. It can also function as reassurance. A relaxed cat may glance toward you periodically while resting. The gaze is brief. The eyelids soften. Once eye contact occurs, the cat may return to grooming or settle deeper into sleep. This type of look feels different from resource anticipation or alert focus. It is more like a quiet check. Are you still here? The pause for response is subtle but meaningful. When your cat stares and you look back, even briefly, you are participating in a shared exchange. Humans often speak back instinctively. What is it? Do you need something? Even if your cat does not understand the words, they may register the tone and attention shift. Looking before vocalizing is common in many animals. A visual cue often precedes sound. If the visual cue is acknowledged, sound may not be necessary. You may have noticed that sometimes your cat stares at you and, if ignored, escalates to a soft meow. The gaze came first. The pause was offered. When response did not arrive, sound followed. This pattern suggests that staring can be intentional in a practical sense, not intentional in a complex emotional narrative, but intentional in communication flow. Cats are efficient. Why vocalize immediately if a look might suffice? Shared understanding builds gradually. Over months and years, you and your cat develop a rhythm. Certain stares come to mean specific things. A look toward the door at night, a look toward the water bowl, a look from across the room during quiet hours. These patterns become familiar. Without words, meaning accumulates. It is important to note that not every stare carries a request. Many are simply observation, but some clearly function as signals within the shared environment. The body often supports the message. A cat wanting to play may stare while crouching slightly, tail tip twitching. A cat wanting attention may stare while seated upright, ears forward, posture relaxed. The eyes alone do not carry the full sentence. They begin it. The human tendency is to assign complex intention to the stare. Are they judging? Are they analyzing? Are they waiting for something profound? In reality, the communication may be far simpler. I see you. I am here. Something may happen soon. Or perhaps, I would like something. Over time, these exchanges deepen the sense of connection. You begin to recognize the difference between a neutral watch and a purposeful one. Your cat learns which looks result in response. The silence between you becomes structured. No dramatic gestures, no elaborate signals, just eyes meeting briefly across a room. Silent communication can feel powerful precisely because it lacks noise. In a world filled with sound and motion, a steady gaze stands out. And sometimes, within that quiet, something meaningful passes between you, not because it is mystical, but because it has been built through repetition, familiarity, and shared space. Looking becomes part of a language spoken without words, a language shaped slowly through living together. And that language itself is rooted in a long history of cats adapting to life beside humans. To understand why a cat can sit across from you and hold your gaze calmly, it helps to step backward in time. Long before couches, windows, and softly lit rooms, there were small wildcats living on the edges of human settlements. These early cats were not pets in the way we understand the term today. They were opportunistic hunters. Human communities stored grain. Grain attracted rodents. Rodents attracted cats. Proximity began with practicality. Over generations, certain traits made survival near humans easier. Cats who were less reactive to human presence were more likely to remain near settlements. Those who tolerated noise, movement, and occasional eye contact without fleeing had an advantage. Gradually, tolerance became part of the population. In wild animal communication, A direct stare can signal threat. Many species interpret sustained eye contact as confrontation. For early wildcats living near humans, reacting to every human glance as a threat would have been costly. Reduced threat interpretation allowed coexistence. Cats that did not escalate when humans looked toward them were more likely to stay close to food sources and shelter. That subtle shift in perception from threat to neutrality shaped generations. Domestication does not erase instinct. It adjusts thresholds. Through time, cats became more flexible in how they interpreted human gaze. What might once have triggered avoidance began to feel neutral, even routine. Human preference also played a role. People naturally gravitated toward animals who appeared calm and approachable. A cat who tolerated being looked at, who did not bolt immediately, would have been more likely to receive food scraps or protection. Selection does not require formal breeding programs to occur. It can happen slowly through repeated human choices. Sociable individuals thrive. Reactive individuals drift away. Over thousands of years, this subtle filtering influences behavior. One interesting area of research explores how mutual gaze may influence bonding hormones. In some studies involving dogs, prolonged eye contact between humans and dogs has been associated with increases in oxytocin, a hormone involved in social bonding. Research on cats remains more limited, yet there is growing interest in whether gentle, non-threatening eye contact between cats and humans may also contribute to bonding responses. The idea is not that cats seek eye contact in the same way dogs often do. Cats retain more independence in their social structure. Yet mutual gazing that feels safe may reinforce familiarity. If a cat learns that looking at a human does not result in threat or discomfort, and sometimes results in warmth, food, or gentle interaction, that gaze becomes integrated into the relationship. Coevolution occurs when two species influence each other over time. Humans adapted to cats as well. We learned to interpret their signals. We softened our movements. We blinked slowly rather than staring rigidly. We created homes that allowed cats to feel secure. Visual tolerance grew in both directions. A human who maintains soft eye contact without looming posture feels different from a predator locking eyes with prey. Cats living closely with humans have adapted to recognize this difference. Their nervous systems learn that human gaze often predicts calm outcomes. This long history helps explain why a cat can sit comfortably in front of you, eyes open, holding a steady look, without perceiving danger. It is not purely instinct from the wild. It is instinct shaped gently by centuries of coexistence. The stare, once a tool for survival, becomes a tool for familiarity. And yet, even with domestication, the ancient wiring remains beneath the surface. Cats still interpret posture, distance, and tension. Mutual gazing works best when both bodies remain relaxed. A towering figure leaning forward rigidly may still trigger defensive signals, but a seated human, body loose, breathing steady, presents no threat. In this environment, the gaze transforms. It becomes part of social exchange rather than territorial defense. Over time, generations of cats who tolerated and even engaged in neutral eye contact with humans helped shape the domestic cat we know today. The result is subtle. A cat who can look at you calmly. A human who can look back without fear. A shared space where eyes meet without escalation. That evolutionary pathway is one reason the stare can feel so direct and steady in modern homes. It carries echoes of survival and adaptation, woven quietly into daily life. And perhaps that deep history is part of why the gaze feels personal. Why being looked at by a cat can stir something distinctly emotional within us. There is a reason the cat stare can feel intimate. It is not only about instinct or territory or routine. It is also about us. Humans are deeply sensitive to eye contact. From infancy, we are wired to notice when someone looks at us. A pair of eyes directed toward us activates parts of the brain involved in social awareness. It signals attention. Attention feels meaningful. When another human holds our gaze, we instinctively begin interpreting it. Are they friendly, curious, disapproving, interested? Even brief eye contact can create a small emotional shift. So when a cat looks at you steadily, your brain responds in the same way it would to another person. You feel seen, and being seen, especially in silence, can feel personal. Projection plays a role here. Humans naturally project thoughts and emotions onto other beings. It helps us navigate complex social environments. When we encounter a quiet stare, we tend to fill in the blank with narrative. What are they thinking? Are they judging me? Are they analyzing something? This projection is automatic. It does not mean we are wrong to feel it. It simply means our brains are designed to search for intention behind eye contact. Anthropomorphism, attributing human traits to animals, also shapes interpretation. We imagine inner monologues. We imagine opinions. We imagine commentary happening behind those steady eyes. Cats, however, are not forming abstract evaluations of our daily choices. Their stare often remains grounded in observation, familiarity, or expectation. Yet the emotional weight we attach to it remains real. Part of the intensity comes from the stillness. Human eye contact is usually dynamic. We glance away. We blink often. We shift posture. When a cat holds a steady gaze with minimal blinking, the lack of interruption heightens the experience. It feels uninterrupted. It feels focused. And because their facial muscles remain relatively neutral, the expression does not provide easy clues. A human face constantly broadcasts micro-expressions. Raised eyebrows, tightened lips, slight smirks. We read these signals quickly. A cat's face changes far less. The eyes remain large and reflective. The mouth does not move much. The forehead stays smooth. Without clear cues, the human brain searches harder for meaning. The myth of the judging cat likely grew from this gap. A steady, unreadable stare can feel evaluative, but evaluation is a human framing. For a cat, the stare may simply represent attention. Emotional interpretation bias adds another layer. If you are already feeling vulnerable or self-conscious, a stare can amplify that feeling. If you are relaxed and content, the same stare may feel affectionate or calming. Your emotional state shapes how the gaze lands. The same cat, the same eyes, different internal response. There is also something inherently intimate about shared silence. When two beings look at each other without speaking, the moment feels charged because it lacks distraction. There are no words to soften it, no laughter to break it, just presence. In a quiet room, with soft lighting and still air, a cat's stare can feel like a direct line of awareness, and awareness invites reflection. You may wonder what your cat sees when they look at you. They see movement, they see posture, they see patterns. You feel something more layered because your brain adds context, history, and self-perception. This is not a flaw. It is part of being human. The cat's stare becomes a mirror in a subtle way. It reminds you that you are visible, that you occupy space in another being's awareness. That awareness feels meaningful because humans are social creatures. We are built to respond to attention. Over time, repeated calm gazes from your cat may take on a comforting tone. You begin to associate the look with shared quiet evenings, routine mornings, familiar rhythms. The personal feeling grows through repetition. It is not that your cat is sending complex emotional messages through their eyes. It is that your brain cannot help but receive the gaze as social input. And once you understand that dynamic, the intensity softens. The stare remains steady, but your interpretation becomes gentler. It shifts from judgment to presence, from mystery to familiarity. And from there, the gaze can move into something larger, something shaped not only by biology and emotion, but by stories humans have told about cats for centuries. Long before modern homes and softly lit living rooms, cats occupied a different place in the human imagination. They moved through ancient cities. They lived near granaries and temples. They slipped through alleyways and along stone walls. And wherever they went, people watched them watching. The steady gaze of a cat has always invited interpretation. In some cultures, cats were seen as protectors. In ancient Egypt, cats were associated with divinity and guardianship. Their calm, observant presence felt powerful. A cat sitting quietly and staring into the distance could be imagined as perceiving something beyond human awareness. The gaze became symbolic. In other regions and time periods, the same stare carried different meaning. Superstitions emerged around the idea that cats could see what humans could not: spirits, hidden forces, unseen movement. When a cat stared at an empty corner of a room, the explanation was rarely simple. The stillness felt intentional. The eyes felt penetrating. Mystical associations grew from that experience. Artistic depictions often leaned into this quality. Painters and writers described cats as enigmatic, watchful, perceptive. The eyes were emphasized, bright, reflective, sometimes luminous in candlelight. The cat became a creature of quiet knowledge. In folklore, a cat staring at someone could symbolize intuition, secrecy, or awareness. The animal's independence and silence reinforced the impression of hidden understanding. Yet most of these interpretations emerged from the same foundation: the human tendency to project meaning onto steady observation. When an animal looks at us without obvious emotional change, the blankness becomes a canvas. We fill it. Modern culture has taken this tendency in lighter directions. Internet humor frequently plays on the idea of the judging cat. Memes circulate showing cats staring with captions that suggest silent criticism or exaggerated commentary. The humor works because the stare feels relatable. Everyone has experienced that moment, looking up and finding a cat watching intently. The joke depends on anthropomorphism. We imagine the cat thinking something clever or disapproving. The fixed gaze becomes comedic precisely because it feels so serious. Yet behind the humor remains the biological reality. Cats stare because they observe. Still, culture shapes how that observation feels. In dim lighting, with reflective pupils glowing softly, the stare can appear dramatic. Before modern electric lighting, candlelight and firelight would have amplified that effect. The eyes would catch and reflect flickering flames. It is easy to imagine how such moments could inspire stories. The quiet animal in the corner, the glowing eyes, the sense of being watched. Mystery grows easily in low light. Even today, when a cat stares into darkness, some people feel a small flicker of unease. The mind wonders what has captured their attention. Often, the answer is simple. Subtle sound, faint motion, or minor environmental change. But cultural memory lingers. Cats as watchers. Cats as guardians. Cats as beings who see more than we do. Literature has frequently used the image of a staring cat to create atmosphere. The animal becomes a silent witness within the story, observing human drama without comment. The gaze feels knowing, yet the knowing is a human overlay. Across centuries, cats have remained visually expressive in one consistent way, through their eyes. Because their facial expressions are restrained, and because they blink less often than humans, their stare holds shape longer than many other animals' expressions. That steadiness invites myth. At the same time, many cultures also embrace the cat's calm gaze as a symbol of serenity. A cat resting and watching quietly can feel grounding. The stare becomes part of the image of domestic peace. The same behavior, steady observation, has supported both superstition and comfort, depending on context. This range of interpretation reveals more about human psychology than feline intention. We respond strongly to being watched. We craft stories around it. We attach meaning to it. The cat simply remains present. Yet occasionally, the stare does signal something more immediate. A shift in mood, a flicker of discomfort, a sign that something in the environment feels off. Those moments are less common, but they deserve gentle attention. Because sometimes, beneath the calm surface, the gaze carries a different tone entirely. Most of the time, a cat's stare is neutral. Observation, curiosity, routine tracking, quiet presence. But context always matters. There are moments when a stare carries a different tone, not dramatic, not aggressive by default, but edged with tension. Recognizing that difference requires looking beyond the eyes. A defensive stare often pairs with changes in posture. The body may stiffen slightly. The spine may elongate. The paws position themselves for quick movement. The ears provide early clues. Ears angled sharply sideways or flattened backwards suggest discomfort. This shift can happen quickly if a cat feels cornered, startled, or overstimulated. The eyes may remain fixed, but the emotional temperature has changed. Whiskers can move forward tightly against the face in high alert states. The tail may flick more sharply. Muscles may appear engaged beneath the fur. In these situations, the stare is not simply curiosity. It is assessment under tension. Overstimulation can also produce a sharper gaze. During petting, for example, a cat may initially appear relaxed. If stimulation continues beyond their comfort threshold, subtle changes appear. The eyes may widen slightly. The body stiffens. The tail flicks once or twice. If the interaction continues, the stare may lock more firmly onto your hand or face. This does not mean anger in a human sense. It signals that sensory input has crossed into discomfort. Cats process touch and sound differently from humans. What feels pleasant at first can become overwhelming quickly. The stare becomes a warning signal within that context. Redirected aggression is another rare but important scenario. If a cat becomes startled by an external stimulus, a loud noise, a sudden movement outside a window, they may enter a heightened state of arousal. If that energy has no clear outlet, the nearest moving object may draw attention. The stare can feel intense in those moments. The pupils may dilate widely. The body may lower slightly. The tail may puff or flick rapidly. This state differs clearly from calm observation. Environmental stress plays a role as well. Changes in routine, unfamiliar visitors, loud renovations, or new animals in the home can alter a cat's baseline comfort. A cat who feels uncertain may stare more frequently, monitoring both people and surroundings. The stare, in these cases, is less about communication and more about vigilance. It is important not to interpret every prolonged gaze as stress. The full body must be considered. A relaxed body with soft ears and still tail indicates calm. A rigid body with flattened ears and tense muscles indicates discomfort. The eyes alone rarely tell the entire story. Distance matters too. A cat staring from across the room may simply be observing. A cat staring from very close range with a rigid posture may be signaling space needs. Understanding these cues allows for respectful response. If you notice tension, pause movement. Soften your posture. Reduce noise. Give space. Most discomfort states resolve quickly once stimulation decreases. Cats rely on subtle signaling long before escalating to overt behaviors like hissing or swatting. The stare can be part of that early communication system. It is a low-intensity alert. It says, something feels off. When humans learn to read the combination of eye, ear, whisker, and body posture, the relationship becomes smoother. Boundaries are respected earlier. Stress decreases more quickly. In many cases, these moments are brief. A loud truck passes outside. The cat stares toward the window. The body stiffens for a few seconds. Then the environment settles. The body softens again. The stare returns to neutrality. Understanding that staring can sometimes signal discomfort does not make the behavior threatening. It makes it informative. Cats communicate in layers. Calm observation, curiosity, bonding, and occasional stress all move through the same visual channel. The difference lies in posture and energy. Most of the time, when your cat stares, the tone remains soft and neutral. But knowing how to recognize the rarer tense version adds clarity. Because at its core, the stare is still what it has always been. Awareness. And awareness shifts slightly depending on how safe the environment feels. We've moved through biology, through instinct, through bonding, routine, territory, and culture. And now we return to a quiet room. Imagine it again. You are sitting somewhere familiar. The air feels still. Light rests softly across the walls, and your cat is watching you. After everything we've explored, the explanation becomes surprisingly simple. Cats watch what matters. In the wild, watching meant survival. Movement signaled opportunity or danger. Stillness allowed assessment. Attention preserved energy. Inside your home, the same system continues. You are part of their environment, not in a distant or abstract way, in a practical, daily way. You move through rooms. You create sound. You provide warmth. You shape routine. Observation equals safety. When your cat looks at you, they are confirming stability. The environment feels known. The patterns feel predictable. Your presence fits within the map they carry in their memory. Familiarity breeds calm. The longer you share space with a cat, the more predictable you become to them. Your footsteps have a rhythm. Your voice has a tone. Your habits unfold in patterns. The stare becomes less about curiosity and more about integration. You are woven into their daily awareness. And awareness, for a cat, is a steady state. It does not require dramatic meaning. It does not require hidden thoughts. It simply reflects that something in the room is alive, moving, breathing, and therefore worthy of notice. There is also something quietly beautiful about shared existence. Two beings in one space, occasionally glancing toward each other, confirming presence without words. The stare can feel intense because humans respond strongly to eye contact. We are wired to interpret it socially, but much of the time, the meaning is grounded and gentle. I see you. You are here. The room is stable. Sometimes the stare carries curiosity, sometimes anticipation, sometimes bonding, sometimes mild tension. Most often, it carries simple awareness. Cats are observant animals. Their eyes are tools shaped by evolution, refined by domestication, and softened by familiarity with humans. So when your cat stares at you, it may not be a mystery to solve. It may be an ordinary expression of being awake in the same space. And in that ordinariness, there is comfort. Being watched by your cat often means you are part of their known world. A familiar shape, a predictable presence, a steady rhythm within their territory. The eyes rest on you for a moment. Then they shift. The room remains quiet. And everything, once again, feels settled.